The State Department orders all non-emergency government personnel out of 6 countries. Iranian drone strikes hit a U.S. embassy. And this morning, Israel unleashes new attacks on Tehran and Beirut. The breaking news this morning, American assets and allies across the Middle East under attack as Iran launches new retaliation and the U.S. vows to hit that country even harder. U.S. embassies in Kuwait and Saudi Arabia are now closed after suspected Iranian drone attacks, and we have new video in showing a massive fire at an oil refinery in Saudi Arabia, one of the largest in the world. The death toll for U.S. forces since this war has began now stands at 6 after a counterstrike against a U.S. facility in Kuwait. The State Department is warning Americans, leave the Middle East immediately. The Israeli military is unleashing simultaneous new strikes on Iran and in Lebanon. Smoke rising from the suburbs of Beirut as Israel targets Hezbollah command centers and weapons storage facilities. While inside Iran, new images are also coming out showing blasts and destruction across the country. The UN's nuclear watchdog is now confirming the first damage to an Iranian nuclear facility since the bombing and the operations began. President Trump is warning Iran also that the worst is yet to come. The largest strikes, the big wave, that still has not yet been launched. Today, top Trump administration officials are going to be briefing all members of Congress on this ongoing operation. CNN is following. Absolutely, some critical hours ahead. Nick Payton-Walsh, thank you so much, Nick, for your reporting. Sarah? And with all of this, oil prices surging as Iran now threatens to attack any ship that tries to pass through one of the busiest shipping channels in the world, of course, sparking new concerns for U.S. gas prices. And also, no warning, no sirens. There are new details coming in about the Iranian strike that killed 6 U.S. service members. As the war with Iran continues to expand, and with President Trump promising and threatening that the biggest wave of strikes is still yet to come, one place feeling the impact immediately, oil markets. And Iran is now threatening to attack any ship traveling through the critical shipping channel, the Strait of Hormuz, that sees about a fifth of the world's oil production go through. CNN's Matt Egan joins us now. All signs point to it's going to go higher and higher. Give us some perspective on this.
Yeah, Kate, look, another day, another spike for oil prices, and this is rattling investors around the crude hit 77. That's the highest since last June after the U.S. and Israeli attacks on facilities in Iran. And look at this massive increase in gas prices. This $3.11 is the new national average, up by about 11 cents in one day, Kate. That's the biggest one-day increase since Hurricane Katrina in 2005. And it's all because of slightly higher than they were at this point last year. So why is this happening? Well, of course, you got to look at the Strait of Hormuz. Their coverage for ships going through here. On a typical day through the Strait of Hormuz, there's about 60 oil tankers, but on Sunday, there were just 5, likely even fewer than that yesterday and today, and that's a big problem because that's how all the Gulf. Let's look at live stock futures right now, looking at a 1.4% drop for the Dow, almost 700 points, a little bit steeper for the NASDAQ, and that's after U.S. markets barely flinched yesterday, but the higher oil prices go.
How long is this operation going to last continues to be a critical question on multiple fronts, including this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kate.
Sarah.
All right, thank you, Kate. They had
video showing smoke rising from a makeshift operations center where the service members were when the attack happened. You can see it there off in the distance. CNN's Zach Cohen has more on the details that are coming in about this tragedy. Zach, what are you learning?
Yeah, Kate, we're told that U.S. troops in Kuwait really...
6 U.S. service members now confirmed killed in this attack. Zach, thank you very much for bringing that to us. Every day, the polls are open already in North Carolina. They're about to open in Arkansas and Texas. The first primaries of this midterm election season, and at stake, nothing short of control of Congress, of course. There are 2 races, though, that people are paying especially close attention to, both in Texas and both having to do with the Senate. So let's go there. CNN's Arlette Saenz is in Dallas for us this morning. Lay it out for us. What's going to happen today, Arlette? All right, Arlette, thank you so much. A big day playing out in Texas and more states. So begins the election season. Arlette, thank you. A new hour, CNN News Central starts now. Let's talk about this right now. Joining me now is Democratic Senator. Thanks so much, Sarah. As part of Iran's retaliation, it's effectively shut down the critical shipping channel in the Strait of Hormuz. And now U.S. gas prices are seeing the largest one-day jump since Hurricane Katrina. We're tracking this for you this morning. And with wave after wave of Iranian drone attacks and retaliation, big question is now growing of could U.S. allies in the Middle East run out of what they need in terms of air defense? The U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia is now shut down. The embassy also just issued a pretty frightening warning that there is, and the way they put it out is, a threat of imminent missile and UAV drone attacks in the eastern Saudi city of Dhahran. The Trump administration is also now telling U.S. citizens to not come to the U.S. consulate and take cover immediately, is their message. The U.S. Embassy in Kuwait also closed after suspected Iranian drone attacks. And there's this video out of Saudi Arabia showing one of the world's largest oil refineries on fire. The Sumar is a long-range ground-launched cruise missile that is potentially nuclear capable. It has an estimated range of 3,000 kilometers. There's also the Sajil, a medium-range ballistic surface-to-surface missile. It has a maximum range of 2,000 kilometers or more than 1,200 miles. And then there's the Shahed drones that we've talked so much about that are flown directly into targets. They're cheap, they're effective. They also have a maximum range of 2,000 kilometers. Iranian state media plus video, Clarissa, of one of those drones flying right over your head and your team's head, just showing how real this is. What's happening now?
The journey to get to Turkey takes many, many hours. So a lot of complexity and a lot of anxiety that this situation is continuing to escalate with no clear off-ramp in sight, Kate.
Absolutely. Clarissa, thank you so much to you and your team with your continued reporting. Let's go over now to Paula Hancock, who's standing by as well in Dubai. What's the latest on the attacks that you're learning about in the UAE? Stuck. Paula, thank you so much for that. Let's go to northern Israel right now. That is where Nick Payton-Walsh is standing by. Nick, there's just so much activity going on. Where do you want to begin? Correspondents and teams throughout the region right now. Sarah? Well, thank you so much. She's really talking about one example of how immediate disruptions have been setting in because of this war. U.S. markets are a half hour from opening bell right now, and you can see what direction they are heading here. Oil prices have been surging once again this morning. What this war now means for, well, all markets and U.S. gas prices. That's coming up. Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace is now facing an ethics probe, facing allegations over improperly billing her congressional office for reimbursements. Take cover immediately. That's the new directive from the U.S. consulate in Saudi Arabia to Americans. The U.S. embassy there also warning of the threat of imminent missile and drone attacks coming from Iran. And already 2 U.S. embassies in the region are shut down. And the new message now coming in from President Trump, declaring this morning that Iran's air defense, air force, navy, and leadership is gone. Is that the reality on the ground? And what then is the president's endgame? And it's election day in key primaries today, with races in Texas being closely watched as a powerful Republican senator is facing his most serious challenge yet. I'm Kate Baldwin with John Berman and Sarah Seidner. This is CNN News Central. Take cover immediately. That's the new directive from the U.S. consulate in Saudi Arabia to Americans. The U.S. embassy there also warning of the threat of imminent missile and drone attacks coming from Iran. And already 2 U.S. embassies in the region are shut down. And the new message now coming in from President Trump, declaring this morning that Iran's air defense, air force, navy, and leadership is gone. Is that the reality on the ground? And what then is the president's endgame? And it's election day in key primaries today, with races in Texas being closely watched as a powerful Republican senator is facing his most serious challenge yet. I'm Kate Baldwin with John Berman and Sarah Seidner. This is CNN News Central. There's new video coming in from Iran. Thousands of people said to be gathering to mourn the deaths of some 168 children killed in a U.S.-Israeli attack on a girls' school there. What the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is now saying about it. And we're also getting new video in from an airport in Thailand. Thousands of travelers just stranded as they're trying to get home to the Middle East and what they're left to do now. And polls are open in Texas, North Carolina, and Arkansas, the first primaries of the midterm elections. Questions there. Joining us right now to talk about kind of the state of things and his new reporting, CNN Political and Global. And there were no sirens and no warnings. Those are some of the new details that CNN is learning this morning about the Iranian strike that killed 6 U.S. service members in Kuwait Sunday. Video shows smoke rising from a makeshift operations center where the service members were at the time of the attack. CNN's Zach Cohen has more reporting on this, and he's joining us now. Zach, what more are you learning about what has turned into a tragedy?
Yeah, the facility was completely blackened. So we do expect, as President Donald Trump has said, more potential U.S. casualties. And so this number of 6 is almost certainly expected to increase.
Yeah. Zach Cohen, thanks for the reporting, Zach. I really appreciate it. John. Before the Senate. This is her first time appearing before Congress since the Trump administration's immigration enforcement surge in Minnesota that has faced so much criticism. She is also facing questions right now about potential threats to the United States homeland since the attack on Iran. CNN's Annie Greer is on the Hill following all of this. What have we heard so far, Annie?
Contentious hearing, and it'll be a long day here for Secretary Noem.
Yeah, I believe Tom Tillis even called her incompetent, among other things, in terms of her leadership of the department so far. Annie, thank you so much. That, as we see, Senator Durbin, who was just on the show with us talking about this, he's continuing his line of questioning. We'll continue to give you updates as they come from there. Also next for us, polls are open and voting is underway in 3 states. The first primaries of this midterm election season. We're going to take you live to Texas for the very latest there. And members of the Guthrie family returned to the home of Nancy Guthrie for the first time since she went missing more than a month ago now. Let's turn to this. It is primary day and the polls are open in North Carolina, Arkansas, and Texas. These are the first primaries of this midterm election season, and at stake, of course, is the control of Congress. There are 2 races that people are paying especially close attention to right now, both in Texas and having to do with the Senate. So let's go there. Arlette Saenz is at a polling place in Dallas. What's the latest from there, Arlette?
Go.
Poof, she disappeared.
I didn't know she was gone.
She'll be back. Don't worry,
Well,
guys.
she
She had a thing.
She left.
She had a thing.
The show ends at 10. Did someone tell Sarah?
What? I didn't know that.
Right,
it's
thank you for
fungible.
joining
Our math
us.
is very fungible.
This has been
Good
CNN
job
News
calling
Central.
her out.
Maybe Sarah's on the Situation Room.
Maybe
Up
not.
next.
Maybe.